we are now going to look at the rules of language. The rules of language, as we will look at them, nosciter socius, for example, or eiusdem generis. These rules are not rules in the strict legal sense, just like the rules of construction. For example, the golden rule we just learned. They are principles of interpreting parliamentary legislation. The courts are free to apply or depart from these rules depending upon the approach that they take to interpreting the legislation under consideration. Please note that when courts take different approaches to the interpretation of the law, they usually do not make it clear which approach they took to interpret the certain piece of legislation. However, this is usually obvious if you read the case and how the court has come to the conclusion. Again, it is not necessary that the courts will always make it clear, or at least make a reference to that. The judges may use different rules of language and construction within the same case and for different parts of legislation within the same statute. The rules of statutory interpretation were analyzed by Professor John Willis in his 1938 article Statutory Interpretation in a Nutshell, 1938 book. He suggested that a court invokes whichever of the rules produces a result that satisfies its sense of justice in the case before it. Although, it goes on to say, the literal rule is the one most frequently referred to in express terms, the courts treat all three as valid and refer to them as occasion demands, but, naturally enough, do not assign any reason for choosing one rather than another. I do not think that this can be simplified. More than that, let's look at the rules of language, starting with nosciter socius. See you in the next lecture.